Hello, and welcome to the Consider Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Eric King, and along with my co host, Mino Pachan, we're here to talk about all things mental health. Let's get into it.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Consider Mind Podcast, episode number 11. Last week, we spoke about dealing with sickness and how physical health can play a role to your mental health. So check that out. I share a pretty deep story of my real life situation. So if you missed that, so go ahead and check that out. And this week we'll be talking about how employment and career issues that deal with mental health and how that affects your day-to-day job when you're trying to make a living.
No, absolutely. And again, what your job really does do to your mental health as well. Um, you know, that's kind of some of the main stressors. We talk about stress a lot, and it's linked to illness in the body. And one of the main stressors that people have is work. Is their job, is their 9 to 5, or whatever they do. And we've seen a lot of changes happen to work. Along with everything else in the pandemic, definitely work has changed. The remote work, it's changed the game. Um, so we're going to be touching on that today. Nothing quite as heavy, as last episode or kind of ones before that. But I think the job, the career, the work thing is such a big, it was made to be such a big part of our life, like growing up to, anticipate that and to, as part of being an adult and being defined by our work. But I think it did a little bit of damage, man.
I mean,
Really with
definitely.
you.
Nowadays, a lot of people, they're working too much. I mean, you can look up the stats and
Gig
you can find out
economy.
on Google
Yeah.
and everything. Like, you can find out the stats that you see on Google and everything. On average, we spend about a total of 90,000 hours of our life working.
Okay, that's a
That's
lot
a
of
big
hours.
chunk.
hmm
You pretty much look at it as you get older. You're spending most of your time resting when you can and working when you can.
Mhm.
And it's gonna affect your mental big time. Not seeing your family. You're not seeing your loved ones. You're not doing the things that you want to do.
There you go.
You know,
Depends
you're
on
not
the
having,
job. Yeah.
and you're not having enough time to do the things that brings you joy in life.
hmm
Instead, you're worried about deadlines at work, projects, depending on other people,
Quotas,
traffic,
quotas. Yeah.
quotas, goals, everything like that. And you're stressed. And by the time you get home, you just barely have enough time to cook.
Mm.
You eat and you sleep. Then you repeat it for 5 days out of the week. Some people 7 days out of the week.
Yeah, there's some people that literally do work 7 days a week, especially again with the gig economy. You can always be doing something. You can always be, Ubering or door dashing, and that is, a cool little way to make money, man. I've done it, but no, it's you don't give your, you don't think about your rest. What we're really doing to our body, burning the candle at both ends, as my mom would say, and not really stopping to rest as much as we should. And I think there's to what you said, if it's especially if it's like just a job, something that you have to do, something you're stressed out about, and it's not like a calling, it's not like something that you really want to be doing, like a vocation, you know. That's kind of the difference. Like that long-term career, it's a calling, something, your life's purpose that's involved in that. We spoke in a previous episode about, music, somebody that kind of abandoned a music career, that which is literally a life. That was her really passion. That's what she was called to do, and trading that in for a job, you know. So yeah, man, that conflict of internal interest when you're not really doing what you think you're supposed to be doing anyway, you know.
And man, it plays a big role in how you feel, your overall mood. You're not going to be as happy going to work. Your production is not going to be there because you don't want to be there. Your
hmm
mood. And then next thing you know, you're sitting there contemplating about your life, that you're not happy, that you wish you could be doing something else, but you can't. You're stuck in
hmm
the rut. Next thing you know, your attitude goes down, your mood goes down. You start getting stressed out, anxiety starts kicking in because you don't know what to do with your life,
hmm
and you're stuck at a dead end job. At least that's what you're telling yourself, and the negative thought starts rolling, and it
hmm
just snowballs, man. It's happened to me.
Be
I've been
wanting to
guilty
quit
of it.
every break.
Yeah, every break you
Just
start
not
looking at
come
that
back.
door. You start looking at the door, and be like, man, or you're sitting there just looking at the clock tick away. counting down the hours until you get to go home.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then when you're at home, time is flying.
Yeah, there's never
It's not
enough
the same
time.
when you're at work.
Nah,
There
yeah,
isn't.
there's never enough time, and I think we're kind of trained through school. Kind of trains us to be like that, sitting in a place for 8 hours a day.
That's what it's
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
It's the
it's to
ultimate
really
training
exactly
session.
that's the training session for that, and so then you get into that world, the corporate world of it.
And
If
that's
that's
how
what
it
you do, the
is.
corporate world, but just the working world period. You're interacting. You're interacting with coworkers and the stress that causes. You have these other relationships. Now, again, best case scenario works out like me and Mino here. That's how we met at the job.
Hmm.
And became friends. But we didn't get along with everybody at the job. Like that. That's not
No,
always how things go, man. That stuff can cause some serious and
especially in sales,
yes,
you got
especially.
people. You're competing
Hmm.
every day. Oh, you made 2 sales today. Oh, I gotta do 3.
Hmm.
I'm a day off of work. Oh, you ready to hit your goal? Oh, I got to hit mine now.
Hey man,
Like
hey,
it's
you
always
stole mine, bro. I talked to them first, man. That.
you know, people getting fights over accounts.
Hmm.
In all actuality, I'm sure someone else from a different location has talked to them too. So it really don't matter.
Exactly. But it brings those things out of us. That's part of the thing too. What our job and what we do, it can sometimes bring out the not the best side of us. It can bring out the worst in us, bring out the pettiness in us, and it can bring out a lot of. I know I've had to recognize in myself now, especially through therapy, how many things I did passive aggressively. And particularly like at work, if I didn't want to be there, if I wasn't really, as you said, like we don't always view everything as a permanent thing. Sometimes you do view it as like a dead end. I'm just doing this for a temporary amount of time. I'm just kind of passing through, and it's easier to kind of get over those jobs. But what's I discovered, your identity does get kind of wrapped up in the fact that you do have a job, even like for real. Like just having that job, even if you kind of don't really like it, it's not going that well. You get used to your routine. It becomes part of your life and part of your value as an adult and as a person, an adult person in this world. Is you having a job and having money. And so I remember when I got basically fired from a job. I remember I was so devastated, really. Even though I knew I was a teller. I was a bank teller. I was in grad school at the time. I was going to be finishing that up. And so I wasn't going to be a bank teller, pretty much after that. I knew I had to move on to something else. But I remember when they let me go, I was still so like devastated. Like I was in my room, just didn't even like leave for like 24 hours almost. Like my cousins had to come, who I was living with. They were like, "Hey, are you okay?" And but I was so hurt, like because dang, I was unemployed. I didn't have a job all of a sudden. And I didn't realize how much my identity was tied to just that routine, saying I have a job, doing the 9 to 5 thing, even if I knew it wasn't what I was ultimately going to be doing, you know. um, but it's just again, it's wild what it does to you. It made me recognize something in myself, like okay, I can't attach my value to a paycheck or just have an identity as a you know employed, productive member of society. Good to have a job. Don't get me wrong, people. I'm not advocating, just be out here, especially if you're able to work. If you're able-bodied, yes, you should be productive. But to attach your self-worth, to that's very dangerous, and it can happen, kind of easily, actually.
Well, it's not. It's not easy to find a job that you want to do. Unfortunately, for
Say
most
that.
of us, we work at a job we don't want to be at, and we're not as lucky as the 5% of the people that actually get to do what they love.
That's
It's not even work at that point.
that's one of the
You
main
know?
questions. They don't tell you this when we're younger. But what's that question they ask you? Are you working? Are you doing what you went to school for? Is it that? Ooh, that question, man. It became like, and yes, like like you said, always moving the goalposts. Is this good enough? Is this good enough?
Yeah. And it's just unfortunate that majority of us, if we had the choice to pick our jobs,
Hmm.
I think the world would be a better place.
Well, yeah, of course.
More things would get done
Yeah.
because people are doing what they want to do.
Hmm.
Oh, I wish I had a nice car. I know how to build one. All right, let me go be a mechanic. Let me go be an auto body person or something. In cars, I could create something too. I have the opportunity to create something, and not just follow a blueprint sheet that says, "Hey, do this 5,000 times for an hour, then take a break and then come back and do another 5,000."
Mm-hmm.
You know, this you're actually putting your hands in it. Oh, it's gonna curve like this because the body needs to bend this way when you're working on a car. Or you want to be an artist? Go ahead, be an artist. What kind of artist you want to be? You want to be a sculptor, a painter? Go ahead, go paint 8 hours a day. Paint the meal for the school. Paint this. You know, it's like it wasn't
Yeah,
right, I would
and
get to put my
unfortunately,
own twist to it.
we weren't encouraged to just do what we wanted. Like in a way, we were. They kind of told us, "Hey, you can be anything," but in terms of what our parents wanted us to be, it wasn't a sculptor. It wasn't, a mechanic. Even if you're a hands-on person, you could really enjoy that. But what's seen as success, though, getting a real job and having a real career, office jobs, even. That's seen as a status thing. I remember thinking that when we were working at the bank because we had to wear, the collared shirts, the ties, had to, slacks with the. So we were dressed well actually, and had a little office actually, and so you had the appearance of like kind of this corporate kind of look, a
Just
professional
people
look.
pay attention to
There
you.
you go, exactly. We had this professional look to us, and that was part of it, like having an actual job, even if we weren't making as much money.
Oh,
Just
man,
that
I used to bump
appearance.
heads with
actually.
my managers all the time.
Yeah.
I used to bump heads with managers all the time at the
Yeah,
bank.
I know you did, man.
I was like, it got to the point where it's like I was so damn good
Hmm.
that I could actually say things. Like I felt I was actually able to speak up about certain things and voice my opinions. And it's just crazy too because depending on your job, that is a thing that people are tied to because people look at you for status too. You know what I mean? They're, oh, you meet somebody new. What do you do for work?
There you go. Exactly. It's tied to your identity so much.
Yeah. Then we say, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a store manager. What about you? Oh, I'm just a cashier. Now the store manager's looking like, oh, I can't mess with that person. Technically, I'd be the boss, or I make more money than them. They're not out of my bracket. I can't speak to them. They're only about that 20 grand a year range. I need to speak to people around mine of 40, 50. But that's how it is.
Yeah. Again, the status
You know what
part
I
of
mean?
it, yeah, linked to status.
Me-
What you
me
do
personally-
definitely is linked to your
Me
status.
personally, I don't care. I remember I looked at my managers like, the only thing that's different between me and you right now is the title you hold in this side, inside these four walls. If I see you out there, it'd be a different story.
Hmm. And again, that's what I talked about earlier. The stress. That's the stress of the job. Getting along with people, getting that, and especially when you're, young in the workforce, trying to get respect. People do try to, for lack of a better word, play you, and to figure out how to just navigate that and to have, solid relationships because life is about relationships, and one of the main places where people network and meet is the job, and it is work, and it is through coworkers. And when you're not having a good experience in that place, it's very similar to back in school. Like if you didn't get along, you didn't have a lot of friends in high school, middle school, and stuff like that. You didn't have as good of an experience. If you did, then hey, it was a better experience for you. It's the same way, in the real world, in a sense. How you feel about that job even is related to, again, of course, money. Now, there is the money thing now. You don't want to be getting taken for a ride because if your money's not well, that's one thing too. If you're not happy with the money you're making, if it's not, the ends really aren't meeting from that job, well, then you won't feel good about that job too. That will diminish your pleasure at the job. That's a fact.
No, and I have to say, one of my best managers I've ever had, I'm not going to lie, we'll just give him the letter B. And you'll know who I'm talking about. There was that
It was at the
This was
bank.
at GB?
Yeah, GB.
Yep.
It's not even in existence
B,
anymore.
Mr. B, we'll call him Mr. B. Mr. B was no lie, probably one of my best managers I've had because he knew how to deal with me. On days I wasn't having his stuff and I'd be talking back and giving him a hard time, he just puts up with it. He'll tell me how it is, and then he'll just let it be. And he'll come back, and then like the way he just like I'd be so mad at him sometimes, but he knew that when I was mad, I would just want to work, so I don't have to sit there and talk to him. So he knew when I was mad, I'd just go out and I wouldn't come back to the branch until I got something like a sale or something.
As we would call it, hey, just go to the floor. You're on the floor today. You're not gonna be behind the register. Hey, go out there. We don't want to see you till you come back with something. And on certain days, that's the best because you don't want to be around a certain coworker or manager. It's best for you not to be around them that day. And to have the wisdom to recognize those times. Yeah.
I think what happened to me was because when I first started there, I did not like it. I was, there was times I wanted to call in because I was so nervous that I had to go speak to people I didn't know
Literally,
and
that's
that
the
and
job.
all that stuff. And I was like, I was like, man, I gotta get 14 accounts a month. I'm scared to even get one a week. And
Especially
then
when
what
you're
happens is
starting.
that, and then what happens is that my mental health was starting to kick in because I started getting anxiety, like so nervous. Like you ever get that feeling when you're about to give a speech in front of a class?
Yes, absolutely.
That's how I felt every day going to work, and
Hmm
that's why I didn't want to go. I didn't want to deal with it. And then all of a sudden, one day it just clicked. I got it.
hmm
I got it. I got my first account. Cool. Next thing I knew, I hit my first goal, my
hmm
first time. Oh, next thing I went 150% over. Super goal. Cool. And then that's when it clicked on me that I could do this. Next thing you know, my confidence started building up. Now my mindset is changing. My mental health about it, I was getting confident. I was
hmm
getting more bold, more like, man, I could do this. Like, this is me. Now I can be myself. But to get there, I had to go to 6 months of fighting this anxiety and the like anxious feeling every day of going to work. But
hmm
then your mindset switch. And that's what I want to get to right now is, like I said, not all of us are lucky enough to do the things we like to do.
Mm.
But the other half that does do what they like to do
Yep.
doesn't mean it's all good. Now comes
Oh
a
yeah,
problem.
absolutely
You're
not.
working too much.
Hmm
You're working too much. And now, how does that affect your mental health when you
hmm
work too much?
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're mentally exhausted. Things start lacking outside of work because you don't have the energy to deal with it. Even when you're off work, you're still working. You don't have time for other people except work
Especially if, like,
people
shout
that
out
are
to
on salary.
everybody out there on salary. Yeah, when it don't stop, when the clock don't stop, for real.
Mm, man, I can't imagine doing that. I remember asking
It's
people, do you
it's a
do you
lot.
work to live or do you live to work? What
Hmm
kind of person are you?
And again, I think that's where the thing we talked about a little bit earlier, vocation. Some people it's just a job, it's a temporary thing, it's things you're doing, a means to an end. Maybe you just need to do this to get a certain amount of money. We talked about earlier the gig economy. If you're just making some money, DoorDash and Ubering, getting this, getting that, well, then you have certain expectations, of what it is. But if we're really working in something that we're called to, a kind of our vocation, a career path, well then that's again that has its own issues as well because now you're truly invested. Say you work with in I know some really cool people that work in social work. Shout out, I know some cool sisters, especially in Minnesota. Social work is a big thing, and they have a heart, to help people and do right by
Oh
people
man,
and things like that. However, but they're truly invested in it, and so that comes with its own disappointments as well. When you kind of have to,
does imagine the relationships they build being a
there you
social
go,
worker for
exactly, the
somebody. Like
relationships that you build and
I have a
those
social worker
stresses.
because I'm a transplant
Mm-hmm.
patient that I'm waiting on the transplant. So
Mm-hmm.
and I do dialysis. So I have a social worker that deals with my case, and to see her tell me, like we've gotten close. She's been my
Mm-hmm.
social worker for like 2 3 years now. So like we know each other, and just to see her dealing with me, I can only imagine the other patients are going through worse situations than me, and how that affects the social worker,
Yeah.
like mentally. Like it's a depressing job because you're hearing
When
so many
when
sad
you know that
stories.
person isn't gonna make it, when you can see,
Yeah,
when you see,
and you have to help them do
mm-hmm.
all this paperwork and having to ask them these questions. I remember the first time I got a pack talking about living will. I need to start considering writing a will. And the
Mm,
questions it was asking me. Like I remember looking at this piece of paper and breaking down the grind, thinking it's like, you know, if you're no longer whatever. I forgot what it says, but it's pretty much saying if you're no longer here, who would you like to have your belongings?
wow,
And I saw that question. It just hit me, bro. Like
that's a hell of a
I was like,
question to
man.
ask somebody. That's some finality for you. That's
Yeah, and I'm
sobering.
like, yo, this. And I felt like if I answer that, I'm putting nails in my own coffin. And
Mm,
I just couldn't do it.
mm,
I was like, I'll wait on this. Wait, I'm gonna wait till it's actually
man,
the doctor saying, hey, you got 5 minutes. I'm like, cool. Give it all to my mom.
that's deep.
Boom,
That's
done.
deep. Yeah, give it all to my mom. Yeah, my mom. Yeah, but wow, that. But to your point, being confronted with questions. I spoke. Obviously this podcast is kind of built off. I started kind of my journey in therapy, and one of the things that before I started therapy was asking a questionnaire. They give you like this long ask you all these questions. And yo, just the process of being asked some questions. Okay, that thing can be therapeutic, traumatic, whatever it is. It can really confront you in a way. And so that's why,
Oh,
again,
humble you, that's
dialogue,
for
yeah,
sure.
humble you. Yes, absolutely. Sober you up. When you're asking these real things, it'll start to get you to really think about, what you're really truly ready for and where you really are. And those are things that we try not to confront. That's a vulnerable
You
part
know,
of us.
and the flip side of that type of situation is that imagine being like a billionaire, and then you put a will out there, and someone finds out saying like if he dies, 70% goes to this person, and that person has to be in scrap, and you need money. Things can happen. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like I
man, that's
remember
dude.
working
There's
at the
so
bank.
many
There's
movies
so
about that and
shady,
dramas. Yeah, man.
and I thought that was just in movies, bro. When I was at the bank, if someone passed away on an account or anything like that, and all of a sudden you get the family members coming in, lying, saying that I need to withdraw the money,
Oh no.
and then all of a sudden they can't because their name's not on it, they get upset with you because it's supposed to be someone else, and family fighting over money. Like, yo, it's crazy what people try to do to get the money.
Yep. And keep in mind, people, we were not at some fortune, like some major bank or whatever with millions of dollars in accounts. No. Okay.
This is a small bank.
Yeah, this
like
was a
your regular
small
community
bank, small money in there. Okay, but it don't matter. Again, everything is funny, but the money.
$300 in that account. It's like, no,
Bruh.
it's supposed to be mine. I'm the
The
daughter.
pettiest
I need the
things.
money.
Yes, the pettiest.
Then the brother
things.
comes in 2 hours later. I need the money because she's not supposed to have the money. I'm like, oh man,
Mhm.
y'all gotta figure this out. And that's why if we had a will,
We could
unfortunately,
have
that
avoided
would solve
these.
that problem.
But just like me, they started asking them questions, and they was like, "No, I'm good." Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but no, real talk though. One of the things, we talk about, you spoke about it, earlier, how many hours, like 90,000 hours that we spend,
Sure.
at work, for employed full time, during working age years. They say it become 10,000 hours is for you to become an expert at something. Putting your 10,000 hours in to become, a master or expert in whatever it is, whatever craft. If you want to learn an instrument, whatever you're doing. So, like, you imagine, hey, man, we do that actually 9 times more if we just working, whatever. So we become an expert in something. That's the truth. This life you keep on going, you become an expert in something, even if it's just being middle of the road, mediocre. If it's just getting up, going, getting in a
It's
routine,
crazy.
whatever it is. Oh, you gonna get trained on something.
You look at it, it's just crazy to think. If you love doing something so much, you become an expert automatically because you're spending that time, that effort, the hours, and everything to learn what it is you want to learn. If you want to be like a recording artist, take the time to learn the software, the program, how it works, and then within the program, you learn each little thing in there. You have to learn it, and you don't care because this is what you love to do.
Hmm.
It's fun for you. But then if you look other things like, oh, you need to be certified to do this. So you want me to go spend over $100,000 for someone I don't know to give me a piece of paper saying that yes, you can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, basically that's what they want.
Some of it,
and it's bigger. Again, we're a little bit older. You know what I'm saying? We're for real millennials, and so we were sold the college thing, going to college, going to school. Like again, I didn't have them options. My mom was in the academic world. She was going to school as well, and so that's what we were sold. That's how we were going to be successful. You go to school, and then you can go get a good job, get a career, such and such. And then for those that I know, I'm not going to say specifically for your situation, especially if they were from like an immigrant family, if they were from, Africa or Asia or the ones I met, they had for real parameters around what they were going to be studying too. It was not just, even when I went to the, college in the Caribbean, all them, people from the Bahamas, Jamaica, Trinidad. No, it wasn't just you're going to be studying what you love. It was very practical about what the road to success through school, even that was narrowed.
I mean, don't get me wrong, people. If you go to school, college, do it. As long as you're doing it for you and it's something you love and you really want to learn, by all means, do it. I'm just saying for the people that feel like this is what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Follow your passion, follow your heart, do what you love to do.
That's
Work
that's
what
so
work.
easy
No,
to say.
It is so easy to say, but you gotta work hard to make it easy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
But there again are pressures. Like I said, in my family, like it wasn't even a question. Like not going to school, I entertained the military briefly. Like I thought, okay, I could be a pretty good soldier actually, and no, got no support because they were like literally the path to success. And again, I basically grew up on campus, University of Minnesota. You know, the campus itself in the Twin Cities, the St. Paul campus is literally where I grew up, and so I saw it every
CYM.
day. You know, I saw like that path of of success or what was in my face every day was school. You know, now fast forward again, these younger guys, my little brother Maurice, he's 9 years younger than me. Not necessarily school isn't necessarily the priority. That's not. Um, it's not everything it's cracked up to be, like it was to us. And I think the younger kids are smarter. They can see the business part of it and starting to see the effects of debt, the effects of those stresses once you buy into that machine, and then again,
They can
school
see through
trains
the
you.
BS.
Yeah, yeah, it trains you for the workforce, the employment, and get into that rat race. Who was it? Who told me that? Maybe it was my dad. It was like, if you volunteer to get in the rat race, it makes you a rat. Even if you win the no, sorry, yeah. Even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. Yeah. I was like, dang, man. Maybe my dad and my therapist, somebody said that to me recently, and gave me some cause to pause. Because technically, I guess I am working in my field. What I went to school for in project management, but I've had to kind of reevaluate, specifically doing with this podcast in the media space, and how can I mesh that with maybe my passions more, as opposed to what's practical or what's popping right now, which is the IT world. And again, talked about how the pandemic has changed things, more remote, working. Now, IT and infrastructure and telecommunications, these are essential services. There's more money pumped into that infrastructure, and this is a time to kind of ride the wave of that, so to speak. But I'm also paying attention to, okay, what am I actually passionate about? What am I good at? What am I trained in? And so again, it's I've been thinking, like, in addition to all the other things that of course this pandemic has done, and just living life and seeking some therapy and reevaluating my life, while getting that therapy. One of the things that's come into light is, what am I doing 8 hours a day, spending my day? What do I really feel about that? And what is that doing to my mental health? Is it an achieving place? If you're at a place that is about high achievement and encouraging you, does that transfer in your other, in the rest of your life? But if you're in a place that kind of depresses you and bogs you down and doesn't make you feel adequate, to kind of leave and just escape that and leave that behind, that can have that's hard to just leave that behind. That could stay with you and have a negative effect on you. So I've been trying to think about, hey, what's my job? What's my 9 to 5 doing to me? What's it doing to my energy? What's it telling me my value is? Or, you know.
hmm And that's another thing too, man. Like, people don't realize that even till this day, even though it's a little more out there and people are more aware of the mental health issues in the workplace,
Hmm.
people still have that stigma there at work where they don't want to bring it up
Yeah,
because
they say they have personal and mental health days. Even that's more common language. But how many people are truly taking them and doing it for the right reasons?
yeah.
Obviously.
And I understand, what for something that's good, there's always people that abuse the good, right?
Hmm.
Some people lie about anxiety because it's such a easy thing to say, hey, I have an anxiety, I need a break,
Hmm.
But for people to actually go through it, it's like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And then it gives them a bad image because it's like, oh, you're just lying. Stop thinking too much. Just
Hmm.
get back out there and work. You'll
Yeah.
be all right. Stop thinking, stop stressing. You
Hmm.
worry too much. La, la, la. It's like, no, you don't get it. Like, I don't want to worry.
Hmm.
But my mind is racing at a point where I can't do anything. And next thing you know, I'm just lost in my thoughts. And it's just a cycle, it just continues. And then it's unfortunate for the people that actually deal with it because if you want to know someone's going through mental health, look at your employees when you're at work, who usually calls in every so often, who's usually always when you see them, it's like, hey, you okay? When you know they're not, but they say, oh, I'm fine. And then
Hmm.
put on a fake smile and go about their day,
Hmm.
you know. Those are the ones that are dealing with something, but you're not their friend, they're a co-worker. Because that's what
Mm.
it is. You're at work.
Yeah,
Co-worker.
boundaries again. Those work boundaries and those
It's like,
relationships and yeah.
oh, you know Mino? Oh, yeah, I know Mino. Oh, I only know work Mino.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know me no outside of work. I just know work me no. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just hard to tell sometimes, because you people that go through it, like myself included, I get so good at faking it.
Again, get
How
in
you
the
doing?
routine.
Oh, I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah. Automatic with something. Oh, I'm good. I'm all right. Yeah, just chilling.
Mhm.
You know, earlier that day, maybe I had an anxiety panic attack. I was bawling my eyes out in the car before I walked into work. Before I walk in, I got to stop, man. All right, relax. Walking, my body feels like it's shaking as I'm walking into work. I'll see the boss. Guys, straighten up. So, hey, how you doing? Good. Good afternoon. Like, okay, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good.
Mhm.
And the moment I get that moment by myself on the sales floor, exhale.
Yeah.
Deep breaths. Exhale. Go in the bathroom. Wash my face. Take deep breaths. Come back out. Hey, yo, it's all good. Like, oh, I can only fake it for so long. I gotta go back out. You all right? Why you having another cigarette break at this time?
Yeah.
So I need to calm my nerves. La da da. It just becomes routine. Next thing you know, I'm having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cigarettes a day at work.
Mhm.
It builds and it builds. Sales. No time to slow down, man.
Mhm.
While I'm not getting working or getting sales, someone else is. And now then they're going to automatically compare to me.
Mhm.
Oh, you only got 2 accounts this week.
Oh, in the competition
over
part
there-
of it, how that
yeah.
feeds into that exactly. It can
Joe already
pervert
got 5. Oh, what you going to do?
Yeah.
What you going to do?
No, it perverts kind of a good thing, which is to, make profits, get sales, help people or whatever. That's what it's disguised as, because that's the thing too. Um, it's one thing, again, if you believe in what you're doing, if it's your vocation, it's your life's work. I think of medical workers as well, just, period, medical workers. We're just coming, of course, we talked about, the pandemic and, how many, nurses and doctors and people who are really working just overtime upon overtime to really help out. And but again, that's those people's life. You know how long you got to be in medical school, bro. You got to love that to go through all of that, man.
Yeah.
For real.
You gotta really want to.
Yeah,
help
that's
people.
you've dedicated your life, your youth to that thing. To be a doctor.
And
So
it's crazy too, and just for
um,
that, because I do see a lot of medical employees of all
Mhm.
sorts. I just
Yep.
want to say thank you
Shout
to all
out
the
to
people
y'all,
in the
yes.
medical field.
Miracle
From
workers,
the
lifesavers.
from people even in the EMT, to emergency RNs,
Mhm.
nurses, doctors,
Mhm.
physicians, all of you guys. Thank you,
Mhm. Yeah.
thank you for doing your job.
Yeah, all the way down to, again, the nurses, assistants, everybody that's involved in that, because it's all hands on deck. Those are the people that really out here saving lives. You know, um, really working miracles out here, doing the Lord's work, as they say. So, so again, it's easy for those people, those high stress environments. Hey, man, that can trigger off those certain things. But it's even, what's even worse is when you feel like you have to do something. It's not even what you really want to be doing. You know, because sometimes it really is just about the money. Sometimes people need money. There's people that have children out here, man, that need to eat. So let's say that before we go any further. Hey, man, that's all a great thing if you want to do what you want to do in life. But if you've out here made certain commitments, if you're out here have children, you got a wife, you got kids, you got that need to eat. Hey, there is a place to set that stuff to the side and do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's bad. Do some hard labor. Do what you got to do. That's what we're built to do at the end of the day. If it comes down to it, we always handle our business. But we're talking about more, again, first world problems.
Mm-hmm.
We are truly talking about a lot of first world problems. If you haven't put yourself in those predicaments, it really is, about you figuring out what you want to do that, again, both makes you happy, but fits the lifestyle that you committed yourself to. Because it's not cool to run up debts that you can't pay. It's not cool to, make promises you can't keep. Try to live a lifestyle, try to fake it till you make it, all that type of stuff. Like, that does have its
Unfortunately, when you do
consequences.
that-
Yeah, when you do that, then you put yourself in that trick bag, as they say, and end up having to do something maybe you don't want to do for the money.
And even on that, if you're racking up debts and stuff like you said, like things you can't pay, that affects other people's job too. Because now you got someone else stressing out their job.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in
Yeah,
this together.
You know what?
Man.
That's
It's
the
all
that is
connected.
true. It's a big branch. It's a big
I bring
tree.
my car to a mechanic. Mechanic says the bill is $5,000. I ain't got 5,000. I'm not gonna pay it. But you fixed my car. I'm taking my car back. No, you not, because my mechanic put in over 10 hours of work on it. He's getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
He don't get paid. He can't pay his daughter's medical bills, who just got braces. All this other stuff. It just trickles down. It's not just you, man.
Yeah.
Like, we all in this together. It sucks, but that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could be selfish. There's a time to be selfish, but there's a time when you just gotta really think like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
let me take care of my essentials.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take care of my basic needs.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll worry about what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do the things that you need to do first.
There you
then
go.
You worry about what you want to do.
And again, and there's a wisdom, there's some philosophy to that, and that's what kind of keeps us going. Sometimes is through crappy situations, dead end jobs, bad situations, whatever it is, doing what you got to do until you can get to so you can do what you want to do. You know, there's wisdom to that. Hey, we seen it. We talked about. We've both been in sports, bruh. Practice sucks. Weightlifting sucks. Training sucks. Whatever. Doing what you got to do so that you can go out there on the field and actually perform and do what you want to do, which is look good out there and win. So that's just life, man. You got to plant. You got to get that. You got to plant before you can harvest. But that's the healthy way to look at it. Some people don't look at work, a job, whatever they're doing as something that they want to even do their best at. It's just something maybe some people got to do a job to just do to have I guess want to say for a look, so somebody will get off their back. Okay, fine, I'll get a job, and then become late every day. You know what I'm saying? Fine, all right, mom, I'll go get a job, but then do a crappy job, to be a male person and throw the mail away. Shame on people like that. Don't throw people mail away.
All of that just comes down to the fact that at the end of the day, it just comes down to you. It's all about you, really. You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
Does your job bring your true self out of you sometimes, even if you're fake?
Do you enjoy it, whether you like it or not? Are you still able to be yourself? Can you be yourself? Say, like, all right, I got to swallow my pride on this one because I got to pay my rent.
You know what?
With that money, all that stuff.
To your point, if again, like your job ain't gonna save you too. Your character, you bring that wherever you're at. If you're a hard-working person, you're a hard-working person. Exactly. If you trifling, you trifling.
And that's just you.
That's just you. Like, yeah, the job will expose who you really are too.
Yeah. Because it's like, it is on you. Like, and that's your mental health. If you know you got something wrong with you, speak up. Go find the help that you need. Take care of you. Then everything else will take care of itself. You'll find that when you have a better mindset, work will just look like work because then you realize that, I get my 8 hours in, I can still go hang out. I can still go see my friends, my family. I still got time to do things. And on top of that, I'm getting paid. And this is the positive way to look at things. It's going to suck because you're not going to get to do what you want to do. But maybe down the line, when you put in the extra work, because you have a different mindset now, and you realize that, okay, my anxiety was holding me back, but no more. I'm actually going to start doing baby steps. Work up to that, and that's a positive side to look at it when some people that got to do what they want to do because they put in the work. People became a famous musician because they put in that work. Not everyone in the music industry put in that work, but for who they are when they made it, they put in the work, the hours, and everything, the grind, and they finally got to do what they love, and that becomes their career. It's not a job; it's a career, and there's a big difference between the two.
Yep. But here's the one part of the equation I don't think people talk about enough, but is what is like the work's responsibility to you or your job's responsibility to you as well, because that's the worst when your employer lets you down. Maybe we should have talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think that happens so much, like when the job, the career, whatever it is,
promises.
Well, the promise that it had, it doesn't deliver on that. Like, what do we
put in extra work
and it don't pay off? Dealing with that.
Disappointment.
Dealing with that.
And broken trust too. It's like, man, you told me if I put in this extra hours here and there and go with the results that you wanted, and I did that and exceeded it, and now you're going to hand my position, my promotion to someone else? Ooh. Oh, that makes me, I want to quit on the spot.
Yes, absolutely. That's happening to many of people. And especially in a merit-based type of thing, in like a sales capacity, whatever, when there's numbers, some type of metrics, there's years that you put in. Because that's investments too. When we talk about this stuff, again, you brought it up, I'm so glad at the beginning, 90,000 plus hours that we're investing, being at places. Again, and this is again, wow, I can't believe we didn't speak on this, but how it has changed the nature of it, where we're not just at one place, forever and ever, like that. We're not, grounded.
It's
that
hard
security.
To find somebody and be like, yo, I've been here for 50 years.
Yeah, no, that's not how the game works no more, man. Like
5 years max on average.
Seriously, we're changing jobs so much, so the job doesn't even provide you that sense of security, that sense of belonging that I think it once did. You know,
Maybe because companies just can't afford to be as loyal to the employees
hey
as they
man,
used to be.
pensions are expensive now. There's something to
Yeah.
that. Now this isn't an economist show or anything things like that, but there is some wisdom to that. You make these great promises to people to pay them, until they're gone. However, people are living longer. This is good problems, first world problems to have. As people
Hmm.
start to live longer, hey.
Can you imagine the older generation that relied on Social Security?
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna have that.
Hmm.
We got to get it how we live. We already know now. They ain't even lying
Yeah,
to us about it no more. I don't think.
yeah. It's man, it's crazy, man. Even like in the professional world, like a big change that happened to me is, when you go from making a decent amount of money a year, and because of medical issues and everything like that, to know that, dang, all that is gone, and I'm down to making 1,500 a month.
Mm.
That's tough to swallow. Something on average, people make that in the first check.
And you were
And
used to. You
I
were one
get,
of them people. It's different if you
yeah.
never had it, and that's part of the thing too. What happens when you come.
Hmm.
We all take L's in life. Again, as we
And
spoke about
then
that lessons. We.
and then dealing with the fact that, like you said, we're tied to our job titles. I don't have none no more.
Mm,
I'm on When they ask me, it's like, oh, I'm disability.
hmm Again, what's
I'm
the what you spoke? What's the correct the politically? I'm in between jobs. Right now, that's what we supposed to say, but we can't.
I can't even say that.
You got to keep
I
it
can't
real.
even
There
say
you go,
that.
Mino. You got because
Yeah.
you keep it real, Mino, at all times. You can't help it, so you can't
And it's
even.
like, man, and it's like me personally, I don't care if someone knows what I do for work. If I was a cashier at Cub Foods, I'd be like, I'm a cashier at Cub Foods. At least I got a job,
Hmm
But I can't even say that because now it's like I can't do a lot of the things I want to do right now.
hmm
So it's like my mindset, man. It took 3-4 years to get used to the fact like this has to be my life right now.
hmm
Everything I love to do and love being outside, I love going to the gym and getting workout with my friends and all this and that. I
hmm
can't do that no more. I have
hmm
to get to at least do home workouts for a half hour as much as my body can take,
hmm
and that's using no weights.
Yeah,
And
it's just
it's depressing.
doing what you can do exactly. But as you said, because you've tasted the other side of it, you know something else. You know.
And knowing there's so much more, especially knowing that I made that money.
hmm
I was living that life,
hmm
that nice, comfortable life, just happy doing what I wanted to do. Money wasn't an issue, and now I'm begging the government to give me a little more
hmm
because what y'all give me a month, that's just bills.
Yeah. No.
Realistically, that's just
And
bills.
to go again, let's keep it 1,000. Like, what are we really talking about? To go from being in a position to help others to needing help. The you know the mental stresses of that and dealing with that emotionally and really handling that and soaking that in because again we can't tell we're both mama's boys, you feel me, like,
I just throw my pride away, man.
like, and so when you go from again being in a position, hey, I got this, helping others, thinking about other people, saving things for others, so all of a sudden, dang, to actually to go to the other extreme, to the not extreme but the opposite of that, and to actually needing help. um, and how do you really deal with that? Because again, it's not a permanent situation. It's the story you're telling yourself. It's something you're going through right now. But how do you go through it with dignity? While treating other people right, while not lashing out, while.
Oh, it's hard, bro.
Yeah, speak on
I
it.
see people all the time be like, it's like, oh man, my leg hurts. I don't wanna go do it. Blah, blah, blah. At least you got the option. Do go do it. Go do it. Like, oh, I'm having a bad day because my friend texted me saying she didn't like my clothing. Like, you for real? Like, I hear people complain all the time about the most ridiculous things, and it's like,
hmm
man, if I could go do the things that y'all are complaining about, y'all don't want to go do.
hmm Perspective, and it's so important to have perspective. Keeps you humble
It's
in
just
life.
messed up because, and a lot of people want to understand. Let's actually going through it. Like, man, like I like to be outside. I like to be and out,
hmm
just out with friends and
hmm
family. And the past 3 months, past 3 years, I just spend time by myself and like 3 people. Same three, 4, 5 people.
Hmm.
And even then, I don't see them a lot. And it's like it sucks because when you go through it, medical issues, all that, and the mental health, it's a lonely road, man. And you just gotta really get. You really gotta spend that time with yourself too.
Hmm.
You gotta really
You gotta
know
reach out
yourself.
and spend time with
Yeah.
yourself at the same time. It's like offense and defense, because you gotta progress, but at the same time, guard against retreating too far.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And only like one of my biggest fears was dying through
Yeah,
all
I think
this,
that's
and it's like
that's a normal.
it's a normal
That's
it's a
normal.
normal fear. And then you can tell yourself, everybody dies.
Hmm.
Like literally, everyone really. I'm
That's
gonna
the
die.
only
You're
guarantee
gonna
we
die.
got
Yeah,
in this life is that
that's it.
it will end. That's the only
So
guarantee.
it's like I had to get it through my head, like, and I tell myself every day, I might die today, I might die today. But then again, that's the same case for everybody, healthy
Mhm.
or not.
Facts.
You don't know what's gonna happen when you leave outside the door of your house, you know. And I just told myself to the point where, okay, I had to tell myself every day that I was gonna die to get to the point where I didn't care anymore.
Hmm.
And that took me 4 years.
Yeah,
to get
that
here.
stick didn't hurt anymore, as they say. You hitting with
Yeah.
that stick, and then you went numb to that one. Well, yeah.
And then it was like, I'm like, okay, I'm still here. I told myself I was gonna die for the past 3 years, and I didn't. Came close a couple times,
Hmm.
but I looked at those couple times that I was close calls. I was doing what I needed to do to be at my best shape
Mm.
while I'm in this position. So now that I've
Ah.
taken those steps and corrected it and changed my mindset and stopped being so negative and feeling sorry for myself, I had to be like, yo, man, this is the hand you was dealt, all right? You lost a couple cards. It's
Mhm.
gone. It's done. But you still have some. You still have your life. You still got your family. You still got your health or what's
You
left.
still in the game, baby.
And, and if it's not a terminal illness,
Hmm.
don't complain. Because there's people younger than you, older than you, in worse situations than you, and they're not complaining.
Yep.
Why are you complaining?
Hmm.
And I had to really yell at myself and be like, yo, man, stop being a B. Stop being a Mitch.
Hmm.
Like, it sucks, yes. But I could be depressed about it and just be sorry for myself. And if I die,
Hmm.
that's what my family's gonna remember me, is me pouting around for the past month or so.
Hmm.
Nah, man, I was like, I can't do that to, my mom's, my family. Like, I gotta fight. I gotta show them that they didn't raise a loser.
Yeah. Handle this pain with dignity.
Just do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I was like, man, I see my cousin, my mom, they've been through pain. Maybe not on this level, but they just deal with it and go with it. It's like, I can do that too.
Mhm.
I'm still here.
You're made from that
still
same
have a
stuff.
chance.
You're made from some good stuff, man.
Yeah. And then for people that are dealing with medical issues and it's draining on your mental health, I know. Just know that, hey, sometimes you gotta give yourself that tough love. Just tell yourself, man, self-affirmation really helps. Like,
Mm.
I got this. You can do this. There's other people in worse situations. They're rooting for you too because they would give anything to be in your shoes.
Man, I'm just saying it like this. There's some people in the country that I know that would really love to be in as peaceful of a situation to make these decisions and not have to flee for their life. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's some people in this world whose life is in danger. They're fleeing for it as we speak. And for those of us who are free and have the freedom to be able to make decisions onto what's best for us, I think we all need to take a little bit of time and appreciate that. That we can make some choices out here. Actually, we're sitting here listening to them. If you're listening to this, you're listening to a podcast. In peace, you're not running for your life. Fleeing your country right now, and then worrying about everything else later, figuring out what this is about to do to your mental health, and so yeah, that's it. And again, we're not one of them. Hey, beat you up. Hey, somebody's got it worse than you. Show no, that's not that. But hey, man, we're not deaf, dumb, and blind to the world that we're living in and the situations that we're actively seeing going on out here. And I think that should be an encouragement to all of us to not only count our blessings but take advantage of them. All right, take advantage of that freedom to choose to do better. And one thing that I will say is beneficial about, the working world, doing different jobs, all of that stuff, man, is you get exposed to different things and you get exposed to different people, different situations, and gives you perspective. And one of the best jobs I ever had was at the end of college. I started working as like a PCA, like personal care assistant to people with disabilities like spinal cord injuries, so they were in wheelchairs, but like cerebral palsy, um, things like that. So having to feed them and stuff like that, prepare meals for them. It was like a apartment building, but we kind of had a schedule of cares that we did for them. But that gave me so much perspective. I was like 20 years old, and all of a sudden it was very easy for me not to complain anymore because I could go to the bathroom by myself. I go to job literally, and my job is, this dude is, he's beefing me because if he could, he would do what he is asking me to do, but he can't, you know. And this is how he's lived.
Inside his pride.
Yeah. Again, seriously,
Yo.
you're seeing people humble themselves, being very vulnerable to you. Some of the most intimate things you got to do, to take care of them, and they really do it. If they could do it themselves, they would. And they need you. You feel me? And so that humbles you. That gave me a lot of perspective in life. That gave me a lot of reasons not to complain, not to want to trade places or my life with anybody, because I have the free, that much freedom. You know.
Yeah. And I just want to say, man, like people go through a lot every day, man. It doesn't matter who you are, rich, poor. A struggle is a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You might not know the same struggle, but it's still a struggle to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it just goes to show that when you go through mental health a lot, your family is always going to be there, or at least they should be there. If you don't have actually, they don't gotta be blood to be your family. It could be your closest five friends that you see every day. It's that support that you need to help you get through these things, and you can't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
The actual battle within yourself, your mental fights, yes, you gotta go through that alone. You have to. There's no other way.
Mm-hmm.
But right on the other side is gonna be reaching hands of people you love, being like, "Come on, we're right here. Just get halfway. We'll meet you halfway." Do a little bit and do it all for yourself.
For sure.
That's how it should always be.
No, for sure, man. Hey, man, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Consider Your Mind podcast. We hope you got something out of it. And as always, we want to be encouraging to you because we're living this. This is real life, and we're living it with you, and we're going through things. Always remember, people, this too shall pass. We're going through it. There is another side to this. Make sure that's the narrative you're telling yourself. So until next time.
Next week we'll be talking about family conflicts.
Oh man,
that should be a good one.
Yeah.
I'm sure we got some stories to tell y'all.
See,
man,
exactly. Yo, we talk about coworkers and jobs. That's light work compared to the in-house.
Yeah. Family is fun stuff.
Ooh.
Everyone got the crazy uncle. Everyone got the funny aunt. Oh, it's gonna be some fun times. I mean, we want to hear. In case y'all listen to this, if y'all want. Leave your stories about your family. What are some quirky things that go on?
Oh, that's a good point.
Family tradition, anything? Let us know.
Yeah, man.
You can find us on the Facebook, Instagram, all that. Just leave us a message and let us know.
Yeah, man. At Consider Your Mind everywhere. Consider Your Mind. On all platforms. Hit us up. On Facebook, Consider Your Mind Podcast. Instagram, Consider Your Mind. Yeah, hit us up, man. We about to tell some funny stories about family, the stresses of family, but also the opposite, the relief and the joys of family as well, man. It's all part of it. This life is about relationship, and we appreciate y'all for tuning in for another week. And yeah, we gone.
See you.
Peace.